Yep.
Hubris, wanton arrogance, leading to a nemesis, a face-to-face confrontation. A long time ago, I was born in West Africa, a place where mythology ruled the spirit of the people. It created sacred places devoid of science. And one of those sacred places was the grave. A place that you never went to and you never robbed. Because if you did, you would be devoured by the spirits of the dead. They would come to you, your children, your family, and your tribe. And they would kill them all. So you never, ever, ever rob the dead. It was, of course, a basic scientific fact that if you did go into the graves, you picked up all the diseases and bacteria, brought them home. Your children got infected, they passed them on to the rest of your family and to the tribe, and you were all wiped out. But the mythology worked. It worked in a cultural sense and in a spiritual sense. Anyway, when I was 12 years old, I came to Australia in a boat. Yes, I came in a boat. Like lots of other people who have come to Australia in a boat.
Did you pay for the boat?
Luckily the university paid for it. But anyway, I got through Australia. I lived my life here. I exported cakes. I ran a business. But when my mother died, I ran into the cold, hard clank of the prison door. And those chains. And the lash. When I ran into the lawyers that were administering my mother's estate. Russell Kennedy's and Ian Boult.
Just to name the few.
What happened was, my family went to see these lawyers and they wanted the estate divided evenly amongst my mother's 4 children. A very reasonable request, and the will said that. Anyway, this lawyer, Ian Boult, said, oh no, it can't be done because he had a letter from my mother that was written 6 years before she died. And she said no, she didn't want her kids treated equally. Even though we all agreed to be treated equally and we had never had any problems with our mother. So my sister, who was the family nominated executor, the only executor at the time, requested this creep, this bag of bones, to look at the letter, and he turned around and he said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, it's legal client privilege, can't show you that, sorry. And his mate Arthur Balkis, who was the wills expert for Russell Kennedy's, said, no, we can't show you that. So I got a lawyer to write a letter, we went to the Ethics Committee, we went to the Law Institute of Victoria, we went to the Legal Ombudsman, we went to the Legal Services Commissioner. I wrote to politicians. I wrote a book. And still the letter didn't appear. Anyway, after 7 years, Mr. Boult resigned and retired, and another soulless, spineless creature took over, a man called Paul Gleeson. Another lawyer. who by mistake sent me this letter because they're so incompetent they don't even write on their files, "Do not send, keep secret, because it will get us into trouble." Anyway, this letter arrives and there was absolutely nothing in the letter to say I should be treated unequally. Absolutely nothing. So I took the letter off back to the Legal Services Commissioner. Said, "Look, the guys are lying." Well, it wasn't enough evidence for them to pursue them. So then I took it to the Victorian Ombudsman. He said, "Oh no, we can't do anything about it." Even though he's written a report on the incompetence of the Legal Services Commissioner in 2009, which no one can find. So then I went to ASIC and Consumer Affairs Victoria on the grounds that we'd been misled, deceived, and they had committed unconscionable conduct and empowered themselves in a contract which is all contrary to the Trade Practices Act of 1974 and to Australian consumer law. They've decided to do nothing as well. Absolutely nothing. So, I'm a little bit confused. And when I first came to Australia, I went to a school. I went to a school called Hawthorn West Central School, and I met all of these kids who had come from overseas. Italians, Greeks, Turks, Yugoslavs, some English, and even the occasional Australian. And I learned one thing at that school. You fuck my mother and I fuck you.
You're a fucking idiot.
And the reason for this is because
I went mental.
Families, through their wisdom over time, created the dragon called law. And they are the ones that ride it, not corrupt, greedy, cannibalistic lawyers.
Call the ambulance.
You're not helping.